Marathon monks refer to the specific practice done by the 10 Dai Buddhist monks. This practice involves running over 30 kilometers every single day for nearly 7 years. Welcome back to the 11th episode of 1 year. I apologize for the lack of content recently. I had a bit of serious bad news, family news recently come through, and it has taken a bit of time to adjust to. So I apologize for not getting anything out recently. But I did want to kind of use the news and use what I got from it as kind of more of a propellant um rather than a restriction. And kind of leads into what I was talking to and what I want to talk to today. This being the mindset that comes from marathon. Like I said, this group will run 30 kilometers a day and work up to 84 kilometers a day over 7 years. So there are a few things that I've kind of taken from this group and want to apply to my everyday life. The first point that I got from it is I've kind of summarized it by saying commit or die. This is a bit of a extreme sounding mindset, I guess, but the aspects of it are pretty reasonable, being that if you have a goal or a project that you're working on, if you don't complete it, kill it. Because there's no reason for you to have this project or this idea just constantly sitting in your brain and taking up space and taking up mental energy if you're not going to do it, if you're not going to complete it. So commit to it or kill it. Because they're loose ends. They're just means to uncontrollable energy that just you don't need, right? There's no need for you to have these thoughts, have these ideas that are just going to take up space for no real reason if you're not going to commit to them. So commit or die. The second point that I took from their kind of thinking was focus on the process. And this is talked about a lot, but it's very clear when you understand what these guys do on a very regular basis. They have an insurmountable goal, right? They're going from 30 kilometers, like zero running to 30 kilometers a day. They do that for 100 days and will just slowly work at it. The goal of getting to 84 kilometers a day, which is over 2 full marathons a day. It's just an for most people is an unrealistic goal. But if you focus on the process and focus on the day-to-day habits that will build you to that goal, and just understand that no matter how much time it will take for you to get there, if you just work at it and work at it every single day, focus on getting stronger, focus on getting smarter every single day, no matter how long that you think it will take you, you will get there. Just focusing on the process. It's something my math teacher taught me a long time ago, was trusting the process, because as you just keep going and working through every little aspect, similar that you would in math, as you continuously work through each line of an equation and work through every single step, eventually you'll get to the right answer. So, using those kind of thought processes, it makes everything sound much more reasonable, especially when you understand what they do. Like it seems so crazy to get to that point, but focusing on the little things every day will allow you to just keep pushing yourself further. And then the third point was training your brain and training your mind. Obviously, as Buddhist monks, that's one of their biggest strengths, being their mind and their willpower to continue. But similarly to focusing on the process, they focus on functions and controlling functions, this being things within their reach. They focus on what they can control in their day-to-day lives and let everything else kind of be non-important. Because if you can't control it and you have no way of changing something, why worry about it? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do necessarily, because you have no control over it, so don't worry about it, because no matter what you do, it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. But that does not mean that you need to spend energy and spend time thinking about it and worrying about what's going to happen. No, just focus on your own shit and just keep working through it, because there's no reason to just take up energy worrying about the little things of the universe and things about the world and politics and everything that's happening on in the world. The world is crazy. The world is crazy, and it will lead you to think that your life is crazy, because everything in the news seems like the world's ending, but the world's always ending, right? So why let that be of concern to you? Just focus on being happy and focusing on working towards something that you want to do, because you only have a certain number of years here on this planet. No matter what happens with future and technology, um, make your time count, because otherwise, this news and everything that scares you is just gonna hold you back from doing what you want to do. So, um, that's a really good point that I took from them. Is like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if something is scaring you or something in the world is going so severely wrong. If you can't control it, there's no reason to just sit there and stress about it, because you got more important stuff to worry about. More important stuff that actually affects you. Like, focus on that. Why are you focusing on what the fuck's going on in the world when you don't have your own shit straight? Like, um, yeah, that was one point that kind of hit home hard, especially what's happened to me recently. Um, and the last point that I took from it is their way of fasting. I don't necessarily want to fast. But not to the extreme that they do. They do like one meal a day, and it's like one bowl of rice. I d- understand how that could be very mental and adds to the mental challenge that they go through, but it's not necessarily works with what I want to achieve with my own physique. So um, that's not necessarily a goal of mine. But one thing that I will take from it is mental fasting, because they're not fasting for like the actual physical nature of it. They're doing it for the mental challenge. Um, so as somebody that uses the screens, I have, if you guys have seen my setup, I have 3 monitors here. I spend a lot of time looking at screens and looking at computer screens. So one thing I wanted to take from that was mental fasting. So every other day, maybe on days that I'm not streaming and you have to use my screens constantly, um, I want to try and do days without screens, days without social media, and only using my phone and any form of screen that I have for immediate messaging and immediate calls, um, so that I can kind of just have that takeaway, that like that, because these screens drain my energy. It feels like my life and my existence is just put into them and just sucked like I have massive vacuums. So I wanted to do every other day or maybe every 2 days, depending on how like my work around schedule is, but at least 3 days a week, I want to do a mental fast where it's just like nothing, no screens, no social media, and no snacking. Because I've been finding myself snacking recently, and I think it adds to the kind of like I don't really know how to describe it, but the like little bits of you know just biting at me, taking and nibbling away from me, and not really taking away my focus. So I want to reduce snacking. I'm not necessarily snacking unhealthily, but it's just kind of the idea of snacking, idea of just nibble over here, nibble over that, and I want to do that as well. And the last thing I want to do was cleaning my apartment. So the mental fast idea is kind of clean my mental space, clean up my mind. And I think cleaning up the apartment is a good way to just finish it off by cleaning my actual physical space. So I clear my mental space, I clear my physical space, and just get everything back in a roll. By just like it's almost like a cleanse, right? You just like get everything out of your system, just clean up your space, clean up your brain, get shit in motion, just reset. Because I found myself having to do these resets every now and then. I find my apartment's just dirty and like, and it. I find that if my apartment's dirty, my mind is dirty, and I just need to reset it by cleaning my apartment, getting everything in order. But if I do that cleanup every like 2 weeks or so, why not just do it every 2 days? Just be consistent with the cleanup. Just reset, reset, reset. So I'm not just letting myself fall out of action and then going, oh shit, I kind of fell off the wagon here, like I have for the past week or two recently. Um, but I feel like it's not to the extent I had midterms in the past week and a half. But regardless of the point, I have not been as focused. But um, yeah, that's kind of what I want to talk about today. The marathon monks, if you guys don't know them, look them up or read a book on them. They're incredible. They're the goals that they want to go for and what they work towards is very impressive. And the idea of enlightenment through running seems much more reasonable than I think like the typical idea of enlightenment, which is just like meditating for 30 years. It's actually something that a lot of people could do despite how crazy of a like runs that they do. It's much more easy to get your mind around just running and continuously trying to find bliss through like almost eternal work, right? um but yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.